person. Yeah.
You walk around now, and just being at the mall earlier today, every single person is walking around with their head down at their phone, or they're sitting down eating lunch with their head down at their phone, or they're working in the shop with their head down in their phone. Like, very little of our day do we spend actually looking up. And so, what do you think this does for your neck? You get chronic neck and back pain.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible. Why are we doing this to ourselves?
I know. I actually had it like about 2 years ago. I was getting like severely bad like neck and back, and then I just started lifting really heavy.
Yeah.
And that fixed it
So
all.
that's what I've had to do as well.
And then developing good posture as well.
So actually training in the gym is the only thing that I've had to help with that, because it's helped strengthen that part of it. But I've noticed that even sitting in bed, because I'll sit in bed and look on my laptop or my phone or something like that, it just messes in my everything.
So bad, yeah.
And our postures are terrible. Like, you see the posture of a person, and you're going to be thinking about
I
adjusting your posture. Yeah, you're just adjusting your posture there. Well, that's the whole thing. It's like, we've all got really bad posture now. So if you look at the average person, and I'm going to do this for the camera because this is going to help you guys see what it's looking like. This is my normal posture, right? So I'm probably a bit slouched. I don't know if you could see.
Shoulders are a bit rounded forward.
Yeah, a bit rounded. And this is what I'd look like if I use my normal posture, and this is what I look like. I lose probably a solid inch or two just from that.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's crazy. Like, I've got this story.
I'm like 5'6", 5'7", you know, or 5. I'm 5'8". Normally, if I'm stood up tall, I don't have anything to lose right there. I can't afford to lose a couple inches. Okay.
It's so crazy, right? So I got a mate that I saw for the first time in like a few years. And he started going to the gym. Dude shot up like a foot.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I didn't realize that could happen after 20.
I know.
Yeah.
And it just, there's a few simple exercises, and I could probably still get another inch out of me if I really try, because you can spinal extensions and everything, and decompression and all that kind of stuff. It really helps. But because I'm constantly hunched, I'm pretty much at a consistent like 5'7". If I do this, I'm at a good 5'9". Like,
wow.
And that's just all from posture. And this is what I feel comfortable in. And going into like the right posture feels really uncomfortable for me, and feels really tight and not nice. And I think it's it's quite concerning that for the majority of people, they are more comfortable in a hunched over position. Yeah.
Oh so I know some of my family is, but that also reminds me about the younger generation at the moment. Like, we're pretty young. I'm 23, you're 21.
But I didn't grow up with an iPhone until I was about 13, 14.
Neither.
So
but these kids are already scrolling like crazy.
That's why we have the terminology of iPad kid, you know?
Yeah. Like, I know, I don't want to rat him out, but someone I've been working with, like...
Drop a name! Name drop!
But dude loves to scroll. And I mean, I've been scrolling with him as well, because I'm like, I love it. Like, and if you're listening to this, send the Thought Garage the best reels you've got, because I will appreciate them. I won't.
We'll appreciate your memes.
Yeah. But, like, I can just tell, like, this kid would be so much better off not doing it. But it's not just him. It's like, it will be everyone in his generation. Because I know other younger kids, and they're so bad.
But that's why we've even got the terminology of brain rot as well. It's literally rotting your fucking
It's
brain.
real. It's real.
Yeah, it's rotting your brain.
It's horrible.
Yeah, we should not be, like, another thing that's been really damaged, and a lot of this I'm talking just from, like, observational, just the stuff that I see, and obviously, I think you can all relate to this. I don't think I need to be pulling up studies and doing research on this, because this is something that we've all experienced, is really shit attentional spans. Yeah. Our attentional span is horrible now. The reason stuff like TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts all work is because they're feeding into that short attention span that they've now created. Movies and stuff. I know friends now who I go, oh, what's your favorite movie? They go, oh, I can't watch a movie. My attention span's too short.
Yeah.
The majority of people that I ask, oh, what's your favorite movie? And that's a pretty go-to question.
Like that.
Like, I think I asked you, and you're one of the people that said that. Like, my attention span's too short for that. And even advertisers now have changed their whole game. Movie producers and stuff and directors have changed their entire game because of this reduction in attentional span. People aren't reading as many books anymore. People aren't, like, a lot of these things that require a lot of attentional span and focus. You know, it's just not happening anymore.
But there's the superpower in this, and this is what I've sort of been realizing is like,
Yeah, we need to give you some optimism, guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, everyone's scrolling pretty much.
Mm.
If you stop that and you do long form attentional
become
task, you're gonna be
beast.
fucking insane.
Yeah, you're gonna be unstoppable. You want to be the next. I was gonna say Elon Musk,
but maybe
not
not.
quite
yeah,
liking him at the
yeah.
moment. You want to be the next Steve Jobs. Still, again, controversial. I'm talking every rich person. I swear to God, is horrible.
It's probably just humans. I think we've all got that dark side.
yeah,
in us.
maybe. But if you want to be
But-
genuinely successful in the things that you
You
want to
wanna
do
be
in
Keanu
life,
Reeves.
if you want to be Keanu Reeves, then you've actually got to put your fucking phone down. I'm telling you right now, 95% of the population is down on their phones, addicted to, up to the gills in just dopamine, watching the stuff constantly over and over and over again, not doing anything with their day, spending a third of their day on their phones, watching the most stupid stuff in the world. All you have to do is put that down, and you're better than 95% of the population.
Yeah.
Okay? I genuinely think this is a change that I'm going to make my life for this foreseeable future, because I don't see any benefits of actually having social media.
Well, that's it. Especially like you just reflect on the past like 2-3 days, and it's been like nothing's changed.
I've been so much more
I've been
productive,
better.
though. And I think something that we talked about earlier was the and you had a really good word for it, but now that I don't have stuff to do, when I'm bored, I'm picking up stuff like my guitar. It's like
Yeah.
what you said, something like inspirational boredom.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you're bored, you have to be inspired. Like, you have to do something. It inspires you to do something.
Yeah, whether that's even literally looking for other apps on your
Yeah,
phone.
like, I know that playing Sudoku, like, I'm still on my phone, but I'm not on TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on YouTube.
And look, like I know Sudoku, you can't play Sudoku against someone else, can you?
No, it's just a...
But if you could, you'd win.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna be one of the best Sudoku players ever. And this is like an old person game. This is like a numbers, maths kind of game, problem solving game, and it's really good for your brain. And I love it, and I'm happy doing it. And
Yeah.
I'd much rather get to the end of my life and be like the best Sudoku player than the best TikTok scroller.
Yeah. You know what I like downloaded on the plane to try and get good at?
Oh, did
And I started learning it, but it's brutal, is Go.
Yeah, what's
Yeah,
that?
it's like chess, but it's way more difficult.
Oh,
It's
okay.
got a bigger grid. It's a Chinese game. It's got like white and black checkers, and you're basically surrounding the other. You'll be black or white, and you're surrounding the other color to sort of capture the block of
I
other
think
little
I've heard
blocks.
of that. Yeah.
And so, if you do the number of combinations that can happen in a chess game, that number's larger than the amount of atoms in the universe. So that's a really big
Yeah.
number. Now, Go has way more combinations, so it's a really, really difficult game.
Really?
But it's like, imagine getting good at that.
Mm.
You'll just be so much more happy within yourself.
Well, the thing is, as well, it's just promoting those sort of neural pathways, like for problem solving, which is really important for you just the rest of your life. What are you being taught when you're going through Instagram Reels or TikTok or something? Like, what
That's
kind of
it.
neural pathways are you training? You're just training more addiction in other aspects of your life, shorter attention span, more need for dopamine. I think the habits that I picked up as a result of, I think the only reason I'm actually able to quit these apps is because of the other changes that I made in my life at the moment, where I've been reducing this, and I'm going to refer to it as dopamine because it's the best way I understand it, but there's these addictive parts of my life, things that are just immediate short-term fulfillment, or what do you call it, like a good
instant gratification.
instant gratification. So I'm not eating all the shitty foods anymore and that I do miss it, I'll be honest, and it's I don't realize how addicted I am to these things, but it's making my body feel good, and that's honestly, I felt better over the past few weeks than I have in the past few years because of this. And I'm also like, the nicotine I'm not doing anymore. That's made a humongous difference. That was messing up my stomach and messing up my motivation, and I hated having that sort of reliance on it and having something have the power over me. And that's made a humongous difference. Like, changing these things has allowed me now to actually be able to quit these apps, because that's the same thing. It's just a drug. Like, it's no
it's
different to chucking your Zyn in.
Yeah.
Or
Well, it literally, that's the way they work, is that they're tricking you into producing dopamine
you
and
just sit
serotonin.
there and like 3 hours later, you're like, oh my God, I've been on my phone for 3 hours and
Yeah.
it felt like 10 minutes.
And that's what, like, the rule for me is now, is that effort should precede feeling good, and that's
Yes.
go to Andrew Huberman. He'll explain the living.
We'd probably bring him up once a
dilates out of it.
podcast, every
Absolutely,
podcast.
that's absolutely a legend of a
There's a
guy.
good reason for it. Yeah.
Yeah, but like you've got to have effort before you get these great feelings. Because if you're just
Yeah.
getting it for free, and look, sometimes you're just going to get something nice. Someone's just going to surprise you with a gift. That feels good. No effort there.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's not happening every day. But that's why, like, for example, the gym is just, it's a pretty simple example of it. Moving, pushing hard things, tricks the body into stress. Therefore, you've not also died in it, so you're not suffering that bad. The body goes, oh, shit, this is great. Because it doesn't know the difference between you working out at the gym and, you know, being chased by something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then you feel great after it. Like it feels horrible during it, but you feel great right after.
Yeah, or like, you know, if you actually really study for an exam and then you do the exam, you feel like you did well in it. And it's just like, oh, well, at least I'm doing the things in
put
my
the effort
life
in.
that are, you know, going to go towards something else
Yeah.
bigger down the track.
And that's something that I think is. I remember my mum telling me, like, for my HSC, which is like the final exam that you do in high school, like, you know, you get a score, and that's like a GPA type thing. Mum just said, like, she'd be like, as long as you put all the effort you possibly can into it, it doesn't matter what score you get, because at the end of the day, you can say I tried my best, and that's all that matters. And it's right. Like, I don't think the outcome is the thing you should be focusing on. It should be the effort that you're putting in, and a lot of effort makes you feel amazing. Like the gym and stuff. I'm not necessarily focusing on how good I'm going to look in like a year, but I'm focusing on like how hard I'm working in at the gym at the moment and the way that it's making me feel over those days. And you just see like you kind of get that reinforcement each time you leave the gym and you feel good and you're like, this is good for me. I know this is good for me. And you need to focus on the work and the effort that you're putting in.
It's the same with like jiu-jitsu, because like especially whenever you start, you're really shit.
Yeah.
So then when you get a bit better and you're actually able to like maybe not even submit someone, just like not be submitted or control someone else's body a bit more, it feels amazing.
Yeah.
And then you want to just progress it further. But
Sometimes it's just about turning up as well. You don't have to have a good day, but as long as you appear.
And because I think like for example, I heard a neuroscientist that really likes jiu-jitsu. I can't remember his name though. And he called it dose, like dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. You're getting all of them at jiu-jitsu. And I guess partially at the gym as well, except for the oxytocin, unless you're going with a friend. Because you've got the real social aspect there. And all of those chemicals are going to make you feel great in the right combination, and especially preceded
You're
with
just
effort.
high as hell.
Yeah, in a way you are. But it's really difficult. Like when you're trying to stop people from choking and breaking your arms, like they're really difficult tasks. Or lifting heavy, like that's a really difficult task. And you succeeded, so you naturally are going to feel good. It's built into you to do that.
Yeah, so if there's anything, like, I think that we should be trying to, like, focus on right now is that you really just need to put the effort in, like, and do something difficult.
Yeah, you know that face you make when you go to lift something heavy, like, "Argh!" Like, it feels so good, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's something primal in you that it just gets, like, it just tickles that little part of your brain. You're like, yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome.
But I do feel like shit, like, I don't, because there's been moments where I've, like, cheated in high school. You know, cheated on
Exams.
exams
I
or
did one
something.
too, yeah.
Yeah, like a couple. And at the time, it doesn't really matter. It's probably not made any difference. But you never feel good about it, do you? You never go, fuck, I'm glad I did so well on that test that I cheated on. Because you didn't put any effort into it.
There was one thing I did, and I guess it's been too long now. So we had I had legal studies, and I had like the pre HSC exams. I can't remember what they're called.
The prelims, yeah.
Yeah, and essentially, you know, I thought you had this choice to do one of the questions in it, or you had to write like 1 or 2 pages. And I got to the end and I realized, oh, I haven't done that. Like, I didn't think I needed to. Holy shit, I haven't completed this section of the exam. I just put all my effort into I was like hyper focused because I wanted to do really well in it.
Yeah.
So I started freaking out. So I folded up that section of the paper and just put it in my pocket and then handed the exam in. And then they asked me, like, why didn't you do that part of the exam? And I was like, yeah, I did. I gave it to you. You lost it. And they had to give me the average mark. But
That's a really, I mean, that's pretty fucking ingenious.
Yeah. Hopefully, I don't. Well, I mean, I finished uni now.
Well,
but-
it's a bit late. Yeah, give your degree back.
I remember I worked in the butchery at that time, and I went to the butchery after school to work, and I told them all about it, and they were like, "Yeah, that's awesome," and I was like, "Fuck yeah,
That's pretty
what?"
smart. Yeah.
But I didn't feel like I wanted to cheat in that. I was like, "Holy shit, I've really fucked up here. I need to somehow figure this out."
But yeah, I
just
don't
feel
think
proud
you
of
just. Yeah, I'd be proud of that actually. To be fair, but I never felt like I did. I felt really good about myself whenever. I feel like I actually felt worse about myself when I hadn't put effort into stuff
Yeah, me too.
and gotten like good results out of it. Because I'm like, that wasn't even me really. That was kind of like, especially if I cheated and stuff like that. I mean that was ingenious. So
Yeah.
that I'd feel great about.
that
I'd be
was,
like,
that was crazy.
and there probably were moments where I'd be like, I'd probably put a lot of effort into the cheating part. I'd probably put more effort into the cheating than I could have if I'd actually just studied for it, which is stupid. So that sometimes I'd feel good about it.
But it's the same now with AI. I remember like last year at uni, when I was finishing up, AI was sort of becoming a thing, and you sort of try to use it to like help you out to study, and it just doesn't feel the same as like you're just like, give me the answer to this,
yeah,
instead of having to go into the book.
you don't
and
feel
find
good
it.
about it. Yeah.
No, you don't. Yeah.
Yeah, and because you kind of feel like cheap, like you just feel a bit. Well, I'm not really doing myself any like. There's the term like cheaters never prosper, and I think that's kind of what you're doing when you're getting those instant hits of dopamine on TikTok and stuff. Dopamine is one of those things that you need to work for.
Yeah.
It's there to be worked for. You need to earn it. It's we were talking about this earlier. It's kind of like it's what's used for conditioning. It's a motivation chemical, and so
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those things that like the reason you get this hit of like endorphins and everything and all these happy chemicals after you work out is because it's your brain's way of being like, let's do that again because that is good for us. It's reinforcing that behavior. But what's happening when you're scrolling through TikTok is reinforcing the wrong behavior.
Yeah.
You're just reinforcing the behavior of distracting and losing time and doing nothing, losing focus.
And I guess it's so bad because we're both people with ADHD, and the low dopamine hypothesis with ADHD is it's kind of
Not
solid.
doing us any justice.
No, and what happens there is like you've got two parts of the brain. You kind of got your identity, your daydreaming part. It's called the default mode network. And that is connected to a part of the brain that's task orientated. And so normally in normal people, these parts of the brains shouldn't be on at the same time. So when you're focusing on a task, you're not thinking about daydreaming stuff and about yourself and what's going on in your internal world. But with ADHD people, they are. But when you increase the amount of dopamine in them, that stops. So that's why you see some people with ADHD that, like, especially back in history, love to smoke, love to drink 6 cups of coffee a day, and just put the dopamine through the roof because it actually allows them to focus.
Yeah.
So we are creating a really difficult world for people with ADHD.
Well, that's kind of part of it. I had to sort of remove these things from my life because it feels like self-medication. Especially, I'm still drinking, and I'm not drinking too much coffee, maybe 1 or 2 coffees a day. But the nicotine was just like I was dependent on it, and I feel like if I'm gonna have this for the rest of my life, I gotta find ways of working with myself to do this properly instead of relying on these other things. I still have Ritalin and everything, so if I absolutely need it, then I have that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to rely on stuff like nicotine, which is I was using nicotine pouches, which you put on Zins, and so that was like ruining my gums, and it's eventually my gums are gonna rot, and then I'm gonna have bad breath for the rest of my life, and I'm gonna crooked teeth.
And it's not like what when you actually reflect back on, because I've loved Zins as well. Like, what have they actually really given you? Yeah, okay, maybe it's made something a bit easier. Like, you've just because you've been low. That's why it's made it easier. So eliminate being low, and
but the thing is,
it's not going to do anything.
All that's doing though is delaying the withdrawals.
Yeah,
so